It's actually let's see if it's working. Okay, it's going up. Let's see if this updates. I should have gotten a. Um. And Theo, have him and Theo invite me again. Why did he delete me? What a jerk. Again, it bugged out on me. Anyways, guys, we're just trying to get everything figured out right here. So yeah, no one's on the stream apparently right now. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Whoop. Like rolling chairs. Did you get in? Did you get in?
Apparently not. You're gonna have to ask them for the game name and the password, and then I'll just join it manually. All right, there are all the viewers. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Inza. I'm going to be casting your finals game. I kind of stole this stream from the other guy, and so because the owner wants the final stream on this one,
They created a very inappropriate in the game name, but we're gonna have to go with it.
Okay.
How do you join the game?
Upper right, search.
Okay.
I'm really curious what the password is too.
I'll give you a hint. It's 5 letters and the opposite of the second word. It's the counterpart. I'm sorry. Alright, so I'm going to be solo casting this one. This one's going to be fun to do. We got the 2 top teams now in the finals. We got Kiwi Kid, who's their AD carry. We got Donald, their support player. Pangboy is their mid player, and Theomancer is the jungler, and Marvin the Dang is their top lane player. Apparently, Marvin only does well against 2K plus ELO players, if that's any sort of experience with me. So, since there's only one 2K player on the other team, maybe he's not going to do too well today. So we'll see about that. We got into the game right now. We know Purple Team is, they have a very, very strong Jarvan player, so we might see the Jarvan ban coming out here just so they don't have to deal with it. But you may see Blue Team just being like, hey, I think we can deal with your Jarvan, so let's see what you can throw at us.
It's probably not going to happen.
Do you want to kill cast?
I'll like troll a bit over here. You can do your thing.
Well, I'm gonna troll too. I'm gonna make fun of
likely-
Donald constantly because he took my support spot on the team. So anything that Donald does wrong, he's gonna be, just berated by me on the street floor because I should be supporting.
Jarvan ban immediately.
Yep, you see a Jarvan ban after the Jace ban.
And then the next ban is probably going to be a Maokai ban.
Yeah, Maokai is really strong
Because
just in general.
Maokai is Black Lancer's best hero.
Yeah, he likes to play at mid.
Yeah.
When you see an Alistar ban, I'm not really sure why they banned Alistar. I don't know if Entheo actually likes to play it, but I know Entheo loves Amumu, so it looks like they're targeting bans towards the jungle, towards Entheomancer, and if that's the case, we might actually see a Fiddlesticks ban here because Entheomancer is a very, very strong Fiddlesticks player, one of the few people that I've ever seen who can actually play Fiddlesticks really well and knows what to do. Actually, you see a Blitzcrank going off, and that's targeted against Donald. Donald can play 2 champions. He can play Blitzcrank. He can play Nunu. So hopefully, blue team picks up Nunu first. Otherwise, purple team, might be smart enough to pick it up. But as you see, Nunu pick, just making sure that Donald actually has a champion that he can play down in bottom lane. Next, you see Nidalee getting picked out by the purple team, and that's going to be probably an AP Nidalee if Black Lancer ends up playing that. Black Lancer really enjoys playing AP Nidalee. He really enjoys doing the poke from Nidalee. Those spears, they're long, they're hard.
And they're fast.
And they're fast. A lot faster than a lot of people say, and they do tons of damage. Like, you just get chunked by one of those. Like, most people are used to, like, an 80...
An 80 Nidalee, a booster 80
now,
yeah.
And so mostly what ends up happening is they'll just be like, it's a spear, it's not gonna kill me. Yeah. Ooh, no, I want Draven. Pick Draven.
They're not gonna pick Draven, dude.
Pick Draven.
So as of right now, they're going with real Kiwi Kids most likely to play Sivir. And Sivir is really good because she has a lot of ways to get out of disables.
Well, she's the one AD carry that doesn't have she doesn't have like a dash or anything of that sort. She doesn't have a dash, but she does have that escape mechanism. If they have like some sort of an aggressive support, she just if it's a Taric, if it's a Leona, she just ease that and runs away and just be like, I don't care, and won't get screwed over by that. She's the strongest AD against that type of aggressive bottom lane, and she's actually very strong with Nunu. Those 2 speed buffs, movement speed and
speed
attack
buff
speed,
and movement speed debuff.
Yeah, it's just huge, and it can turn around things very quickly. We see a Sejuani pick almost immediately.
Oh my God.
Sejuani is like a Mumu, but not quite as strong, but stronger ultimate, I think, than a Mumu, just because it pretty much stuns people entirely. I don't think you can cast out of it.
But does it go through people? Does her ult go through people?
What do you mean? No, it hits the first person and goes
explodes,
out from out there. But because of that range, you don't have to land quite as hard of a skill shot, which is Amumu's bandage toss. So that gives her the advantage there.
I think generally Sejuani is not played because of her ult though, because they can have one person in front and just tank it, and then the rest of the team can move in, and she doesn't really.
Well, yeah, that's all about Sejuani positioning herself correctly to initiate team fights.
Yeah, which is very important.
Yeah.
But she's a very strong ganker.
And you see Pamba picking up Katarina. He's been playing Katarina almost all today, so he wanted to do that. And you see the Maokai pick up, so maybe Black Lancer doesn't get that Maokai. And one thing I like here about Purple Team is they're kind of looking for a poke comp, and there's no sort of major sustain on Blue Team. So if there's like a long siege, it's going to go to Purple Team. They're just going to get that poke down, and Blue Team's not going to be able to deal with it. But they have a much harder engage, a much better late game too overall right now than what the Purple Team has. So Purple Team's probably going to look to win this game in mid game. Because that's what their champions are strongest.
Yeah.
Ezreal kind of falls off late game, and they're going against a Jax, so you don't want to get into late game with Jax, and they're trying to decide right now who are we going to put top up against Jax. Is it going to be...
it's most likely going to be Nidalee, I think.
No, I think Nidalee's going AP because Black Lancer really loves that AP Nidalee.
I see. Yeah, you're right.
And Nidalee doesn't do phenomenally well against Jax. And that's why I think it's taking so long to choose for them, because they don't really know what to pick up against Jax. And it's going to be Riven. Riven's a very good choice against Jax because a lot of her damage comes from her skills. It doesn't come from auto attacks, which, Jax is able to mitigate for 2 seconds.
Plus, Jax is more about one strong engagement with his Counter-Strike, and Riven can just poke at him with his various skills and low cooldowns.
Yeah. So, who do you think has the advantage here?
It really depends on how long the game goes. I mean, as you said, Purple Team, they go for a sort of poke comp because, Purple Team went for a poke comp because of the lack of sustain from Blue Team.
Right.
And that's true. But at the same time, Blue Team has a much stronger late game with their Jax, Sivir. Maokai's a very strong late game.
Yeah. And the one thing that I don't like, and this is what I saw like earlier today, is people picking like a hard engager like Sejuani or a Mumu and having like a poke comp with them. And I don't really like that. I don't think that really synergizes well.
Yeah.
You need something more like a Gragas or a or a Janna to deal with it, so you can counter. Well, you can just push people away, and you can disengage a lot better. And that's going to be kind of, I think, Purple Team's downfall is this girl's ulti right here, because those two things combined together, they're going to be able to close in on this team, and that's going to be dangerous for them.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to end up using, a pretty long cooldown Sejuani ulti in order to really do anything.
Exactly. Plus, they combo that with if Donald, as a support Nunu, ever gets a Sorelia's, it'll give him even more gap closers.
Yeah.
And that'll be a big trouble for
and Maokai is one of the kings of gap closers, so I think it's almost everyone on that team has a gap closer or has that movement speed buff. The Nunu and the Sivir have the movement speed buffs, and then everyone else on that team has gap closers, and that's kind of overall what can counter a poke team is if you can get hard engaged on. You're going to lose. But if you can draw things out, if you can keep people from engaging on you, then that's where poke teams come in and poke teams win.
I think the biggest forte for Purple Team is that if Blue Team ever tries to Baron, Purple Team can relentlessly poke at them.
Exactly.
And it becomes really hard to do Baron.
But they're probably not going to need to go for Baron. They just want to prevent Purple Team from getting Baron, which they're not really a strong Baroning team. Purple Team really lacks damage, I think. Overall, looking at it, there's really not a source of consistent magic damage on there, and that might be an issue for them at the end. You have 3 people on the other team that have very consistent, very high magic damage. So that'll be pretty interesting to see how this goes on. How do you think bottom lane's going to turn out? The Sivir and the Nunu against the Taric and the Ezreal?
Well, I mean, technically speaking, I think that Ezreal Taric should have the advantage because Ezreal is the strongest AD laning champion at this point. If it goes, I mean, they will have the advantage at the beginning, but if the game goes longer, Sivir should have the advantage over Ezreal.
I guess kind of, and I kind of see your point there, and I kind of agree with you, but I think Ezreal's going to kind of have a hard time against Sivir because Taric's not going to be able to engage on her.
That's true.
And Sivir, I think Sivir was picked after Taric, if I'm not mistaken, or was Taric picked after Sivir? Because if you pick Taric after Sivir, I just feel like that's kind of a wasted pick almost for a support. But that's just my opinion. I guess you can use it for counter initiation, though.
I mean, first pick was Nidalee, right?
It ended up going, first pick was Nunu, and then it was Nidalee and something else that was picked up. I think it was Ezreal.
Oh, I see. So Sivir was in response to Taric.
Right. Sivir. Yeah. No. Taric was picked up after Sivir. I'm pretty sure, because Sivir was third pick, right? So it went Nunu, Nidalee, Ezreal, and then.
Wait, they're not in order anymore, though.
Yeah.
Because I think. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I think actually Taric was picked after Sivir, which I think is kind of a mistake by the other team. They could have picked a different support there. I know Lulu would actually be a decent pickup right there in terms of good strong counter initiation, or even Leona would have been stronger quite possibly. But then again, they might just be going for sustaining through the lane phase. I mean, ultimately, what it's going to mean isn't that they're going to lose bottom lane. It just means they're not going to stomp bottom lane.
Yeah.
And
which you do need to do with your early game centered composition here.
Yeah, if you're an early mid game composition, that's really what you want to be doing. So Taric's not the best choice. At least with Leona, you can at least get on top of the Sivir, even if your stun won't go off.
I'm probably thinking that. What do you think the first gank is going to be? Do you think that it's going to be a top gank in order to set up the snowball top, and then they can focus their attention to bottom, or?
Generally, ganks are towards mid and top. And I think you're not going to see a gank until level 4. Both of these junglers, in general, aren't very strong level 2 gankers. So that's going to be kind of an issue for them. I don't think we're going to see any sort of an invade right now. It looks like they're just going to throw out some, saplings and going to go look at the entrances to make sure that no one's going to be, invading it all here. But I don't think we're going to see an invade. Neither of the teams is very strong at that.
Maokai's level 4 gank is going to be very strong.
Yeah, Sejuani's is actually pretty strong too there. I mean, it's not a hard snare like what he has, but she has a very good gap close, and she has a really strong slow, which with a Riven, which is consistent damage, and you have to keep up with them, is very strong. So
Sejuani's gonna be a terror at top when he ever goes.
yeah,
Whenever he goes up
because Jax is if she times it right to where she's ganking when the minions just get there, so Jax doesn't have that escape kind of down the line. That's when Sejuani is going to be most effective.